review. Book one is all about the books that I read for the last 40 years. And today I have my special guest, philanthropy based marketing, marketing specialist. He's building business infrastructure for coaching and consultant that allows him to generate revenue even when they're sleeping. No other than Mr. Arturas Tarasevicius.
Hi, Daniel. Thank you
Welcome.
for bringing me in.
Welcome, Mr. Arturas on Book 101 Review. And can you please introduce more about yourself that I miss?
Okay, so I've been freelancing in marketing for the last 5 years. I've had an experience before working with a bunch of agencies, working in house for companies. And even though I enjoyed working with big contracts, I noticed that a lot of the small businesses in my area and just around the world are really missing out on a lot of the information that's collected in these big agencies that manage these big companies. And so I made my mission to help 1,000 small companies with marketing, bringing all that agency knowledge, all those skills back to the common man, as one might say. And so now that's what I do. I've already helped about more than 200 small businesses in the last 5 years. Some of the contracts, when they stick, when things work out, people don't want to leave. And since right now I'm working by myself, I'm not looking to scale into a team. Um, Sometimes the rotation or the capacity to bring in new clients can slow down. But yeah, so that's about me.
And thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world, Mr. Arturas. Thank you. And today, let's talk about working with 200 plus business. Taught you this why most entrepreneurs are stuck. Mm. When you talk into a business that is plateaued, what is the most common feeling or energy in the room? And exhaustion, confusion, or something else entirely?
So when I work with clients, most of the times they do not come to me when things are going well. They always come at the point of the highest stress, at the highest point of exhaustion, and simply just being lost. So sometimes it does happen that I take on people that actually are the ones that need help most. And I'll get right to it. The biggest problem these small business owners face is the fact that their identity is really tied into their business. And usually, the biggest bottleneck, the biggest problem in their business is themselves. They look at their business through their own eyes, what they like, what they don't like, what they enjoy, what they don't enjoy, and they completely disregard what the business actually needs by itself. So the biggest problem is always identity change. And when I come in, the biggest and the best thing I can do immediately for my client to get us started is to get them out of the picture as much as possible. So the reason they're in that situation most of the times is because of their own decision making, because of their own actions, because of how they see their business is a little bit wrong. And that's why they end up in these situations where they're struggling. So the best thing I can do always is to take them out of the picture and figure out what the business actually needs. Does it need more eyes on the product? Does it need better offering? Does it need to increase the prices of the product? So it's always identity change. But those changes in the business always trigger the owner because he's at the end responsible for the business. So it's all about managing, for me, from my perspective, it's all about managing how much can I change the owner self, how to say this, how much can I change how the owner sees himself in the business. That's going to determine what kind of results I can bring on. Because having a lot of skills and a lot of access right now, you can solve any problem at the point, at the touch of a keyboard. All the service providers are already online. You need a copywriter, someone to manage your ads. You'll find them online easy. But identity change, that's a big problem. And I'm really glad to be on this podcast because my personal identity changed. I'm not special. I'm a lot like these business owners that I do help, and they tend to be me at the older stage. And a lot of my identity change came through books. Like I would not have access to tools to manage my own brain, to manage my own idea of myself, if they didn't come from books. So books became the only tool I have in my pocket, and the knowledge of these giants, of the people who wrote these books, to actually help others in the world. So I really value books, and identity change is definitely the biggest problem that's holding business owners from just flourishing in their business.
Very well said, Mr. Arturas. You've seen over 200 businesses. What is the number one mistake founders make that keeps them trapped in the operator role instead of acting as the CEO?
So, as I mentioned, it's identity change. Having to let go of that operator role feels very scary. They want to have their fingers in all the things, and that's what's holding them back. Simply, they don't have enough bandwidth to take care of everything in the business, and having to let go is a really tough thing for them. And I wouldn't say it's everyone, but 95% of business owners who struggle in their business, of course, because there is a percentage that market changes, economics, and stuff like that. But majority of the problems come from having that difficulty to actually let go of the business and perhaps figure out who's more useful to the business and finding people who can do much more for your business than what you as the founder can do for your business. So it's definitely that, um, that letting go is the biggest problem. You have to let go of your business, evaluate from outside what does your business require from you, or what the business needs from itself, and then figure out a way to give it to that. Figure out a way to give that to that business, to your business at the end of the day. So it's more about treating the business like a child that you have, for those who have families, rather than treating it as an extension of your hand. Because a lot of the times we treat it as an extension of the hand, but a hand is only capable to do a few things. Like a hand will not be able to fly. A hand is only a tool you can use. So in the same way, you have to find tools that help your business that are not related to what you can do. And of course, you make the decisions. So you have to make the right decisions to actually help your business. Of course, there's many of other different problems that you can tackle as a business owner, but the biggest one that's holding you back is the way you think, the way you make decisions, and simply having the wrong mindset, the wrong approach to business, because you're looking at through your own eyes. It's really useful to actually get another perspective on your business, consultants, maybe business partners, or even business competition is a good one as well.
Well, very well said again, Mr. Arturas. Many entrepreneurs are busy but not productive. From your vantage point, what is the difference between the founders who's merely busy and the one who's genuinely scaling?
It's a good question. And it's again focused on the same problem. So, usually, what happens when you're always busy as a founder, you have to do the paperwork, you have to do the accounting, you have to do the service delivery, you have to do the client acquisition. Maybe you need to make some social media posts or whatnot. And some of these things actually do nothing for the business. They do something perhaps for the government. So, in case you need to do your accounting, Taking that time to do your accounting will make you busy, but in the end it's not going to do anything for the business. Of course it depends on the scale, but most of the times you know how much everything costs you, and that in itself, doing the paperwork, being busy with accounting is not going to help your business in any sort of way, but it will take your resources. And there's a lot of things, not only accounting, that has this same requirement of attention, but has no end result for your business. Apart, maybe, the government's gonna say, okay, paperwork is good, continue. It didn't help the business in any way, and it takes a lot of time. So it's really important to identify which parts are you still doing as an owner, and delegate them as soon as possible, and just treat them like a virus. You should not be doing paperwork, you should not be doing accounting as a business owner. If you're doing it, you're very undervaluing your own time, and the business is suffering because of that. Because perhaps the biggest leverage thing you can do for your business is bringing in more clients, or making existing clients very happy so that they stay for you a long time. And this is where all the money is going to come into the business. It's not going to come in from making a few social media posts or doing the accounting. So it's really important to identify not with what you like to do, because sometimes we do these things because we like to do them. Oh, I'm a person who's very attentive to details, and I really like doing my numbers and doing all these accounting. And you just spend your time doing things that don't help your business, and then you keep hitting yourself, or finding out yourself in the same place again and again, where the business is lacking money, and then you are lacking money, and then the struggle becomes normal. Every time this pattern keeps repeating, and it's simply because you're focusing on the wrong things, and you're putting too much of yourself into the business. You're doing the things you enjoy doing, you're doing the things you like doing, but most of the times it's the things that bring no value to the business, or doesn't help the business grow.
Interesting, Mr. Arturas. Interesting indeed. So, if we being stuck or a medical diagnosis, what would you say are three vital signs that are most always out of range?
So when you're stuck as a business owner, um, it's always you're stuck because you're either not bringing any money into the company, or you're losing clients because you're delivering poor service. And the third one, I don't think there is a third one. There's only two major problems in the business: bringing in new cash flow, and then sustaining and getting results for your clients for a long time. Of course, that's my perspective from the marketing side. It really depends on the service you provide, but you have to do these two things. Everything else that doesn't serve you getting a new customer in the door, or keeping the same customer in the door in your house longer, is a waste of time that's going to ruin your business, or keep it struggling. So it's always it's always crucial that the business owner spends all of his time focusing on fixing these two problems. And the solutions are very clear. The first one, to bring in more people, you have to do more sales, meaning you have to talk to more people. That's all you have to do: talk to people and bring in more people into the business. And the second problem is delegating the things that needs to be done to get the results for clients. So let's say, for example, you're doing an accounting business. As the owner of the business, perhaps you recently started your own um, accounting company, accounting firm, and you're the only person that's doing the accounting. What's going to happen is that you're going to bring in as many clients as you personally can handle, but those clients won't stay with you a long time. Some of them might stay a year, some of them might stay 3 months, some of them might stay half a year. You're going to have windows where you're losing money because because you're capped at capacity. You're not able to bring in more clients. You're busy, perhaps you're making money, and then maybe a season hits and you lose half of your clients, and then financially you're in a hole, you're struggling because you don't have enough clients. And then you come to me trying to find a solution how to get a bunch of new people in the business. But what should have happened for you to avoid that situation is you should have never stopped bringing in new clients. And when you get too many clients that you're not able to fulfill, you should have hired somebody, delegated that task of doing that actual accounting work. And you should have continued bringing in more people and more people and more people. And then on the inside, you have to delegate more and more and more and more. That's how you grow as a business. But there's a crucial thing in there, and that's identity. If you see yourself as an operator, you'll never stop doing accounting. Perhaps because you really enjoy doing accounting and you see yourself, oh, I'm an accountant. I've been doing accounting for a long time, and I'm really into it. And as long as you see yourself through that lens, that you really enjoy accounting and you don't want to delegate accounting, you want to do it yourself because you're so good at it, because you've done it for so long, then it's just going to be normal that you're going to keep hitting these situational problems where you run out of clients, and then it's a little bit difficult to get new ones in. It takes a long time to actually get again talking to people, bring someone in again, and the pattern is repeating. So you're gonna have go through these same cycles again and again and again, and it's gonna last on forever, unless you make that identity change and say, you know what, I like doing accounting, but for my business, I'll choose not to do it, and I'll let somebody else take care of that. And then you figure out, okay, the business wants me to bring in more clients, but perhaps I don't like selling. I like doing accounting. Selling is not for me. I never liked selling. So again, that you brought yourself into the business, and you're blocking yourself from doing the thing that actually helps the business. And if you're in that situation, it's crucial that you say, okay, the business still needs new clients. It cannot stop taking in new clients. It has to keep on taking new clients and keeping the current clients happy. So perhaps it's best to delegate that sales process to somebody else if you really enjoy the operational side uh, of the accounting business. But you still have to delegate. Get somebody to make those sales, get somebody to keep on bringing people into your business, and then you just manage the operational side on the inside. But it's all about changing your identity, either to a point where you're simply not identifying yourself with a business and you're doing things that you personally might not like, but it's good for the business, or you simply delegate those tasks which you don't enjoy. And I went through the same transformation. I kept hitting the same ceilings. There's only a certain amount of clients I could manage, and it just kept on repeating. I'll have good seasons and I'll have really bad seasons, and I have good seasons and bad seasons. And the only reason was because I was putting myself too much into the business. I was thinking, okay, what do I enjoy doing? Some days I might say, okay, I can see my business is shrinking a little bit. I probably need more clients, but today I don't feel like it. And then it's a big problem because a month later, I'm gonna start regretting the fact that I didn't start reaching out or maybe finding new clients. And now I've pivoted into that place where I'm saying, okay, um, I don't like doing sales, but sales still need to happen. So either I build a process that makes those sales without me involved, or I hire somebody who does those sales for me. And this completely changed my personal experience. It changed my financials. And it was definitely a right move from the identity side, taking myself out and seeing myself as a different person, seeing myself, even though I don't like doing sales, I said, okay, sales still need to happen, but I'm not going to put myself in the business. The business is not me. We're not the same. Business has its own goals, it has its own requirements, it has its own needs, and I just have to find a way to fulfill it. And that way, really, that change, internal change, is what I again teach with my clients who simply need a service at a specific stage in their business life cycle. But when I come in, I see them struggling with the same problem I did. So now I just focus on changing their perspective and then changing their actions. And naturally, when you change perspective, you change actions, your identity changes as well.
Very well said, Mr. Arturas. So, what are your short term and long term goals as a marketing specialist?
So right now, I started this service or an agency, I would say, where I take on new creators, new coaches who perhaps pivoted from other industries, and I have a whole system in place that makes content for them, that writes emails for them, that sells their products for them, and then increases the lifetime value of their customers. So they can enjoy the ride, and I let the system that I've built do all the hard work. And my goal right now is to actually build a whole agency around that. So I want to have a team of about 40 people from all over the world, focusing on making content, on writing, having good copywriters, writing emails, having strategists for those clients. So people who actually make those plans and communicate with the client, and the client can only gives their perspective on the products they can make, on the services they can deliver, and then my agency does all the technical work and all the work behind the scenes that actually propel clients businesses. And mostly right now, the best customers that I do have are coaches and consultants. That's why I decided to focus on this niche. So yeah, that's my I would say that's not long term, that's midterm. My long term is having a business portfolio, but on a short term, what I have to do today is to actually build the system, right? So in the process of building a system and hiring now, and here and there I do read a book to remind me and get me clarity, uh, why I'm doing, and perhaps just taking a bit of knowledge. Usually, when I tend to read, I get new ideas, new thoughts. So it's a good habit to have, to kind of throw things around in the head a little bit.
Good luck to your goals, Mr. Arturas, and looking forward for more success. And what will be your piece of advice for those people out there who want to be a marketing specialist like you?
So for the people who don't want to be specialists like me, or people who
Yes,
want to be like me.
people want to be like you.
Okay, so for the people who want to be like me, I would say always, if you're just starting, for somebody who's just starting, you have to. That's why I call myself philanthropy based marketing, because the way I started helping people always came first from giving a service, giving help, and then figuring out the financials. That's how I started. I would recommend everyone else to start it like this way. If you're in the service business, your goal is to help somebody. If you're not helping anybody, you're not getting results, you simply don't have a business. So if you're just starting like me, focus on giving first, and then results simply gonna come after. You're gonna start scaling up and stuff. If you're already a marketer who wants to start freelancing or building an agency, then all you have to do is base yourself in the identity that does that, and figure out what you have to do. So it's already been done. There's a lot of agency owners out there in the world. All you have to do is figure out who they are, get in touch with them, and see what they're doing that keeps them at that standard. Yeah.
Well, thank you for that advice, Mr. Arturas. Can you please recommend a book or books that influence your journey?
Okay, so the book I have. So I'm a big fan of Tony Robbins. I don't know if you can see it, but Tony Robbins here, shiny Tony Robbins. And I like Tony Robbins because I've read quite a few of his books, simply because he's really nailed this one identity change angle. All of his books teach you about identity change, state change. If you feel a certain way, for example, you feel a little bit sad, a little bit depressed, most likely it's because you're thinking about some event, something that happened to you in the past, and you're stuck in your head simply living out some sort of a imagined or slightly improvised past event, and that's causing you this state. And if you simply change the attention, you'll figure out that your state changes. So Tony Robbins teaches you, gives you all the tools that you need to actually change your identity. And another one that's actually my favorite and started me on this path was Maxwell Maltz. It's called Psycho-Cybernetics. Really great book. Again, focused on self-image, how you see yourself. This book changed my life's trajectory by such a big gap, by such a big difference, that it stuck with me for the rest of my life. And I'll always have it with me. It does look at yourself in a very specific way, but it resonated with me. Maxwell looks at identity through very mechanical and cybernetic angle, like we're like sort of machine side. But he was so basically he was a surgeon, right? He would do surgeries for people, especially a lot of on the face. And he noticed that self-image decides how you're gonna feel. Even if you think you have a crooked nose and maybe it looks visually crooked, he can do the surgery. And simply because you see yourself with a crooked nose, even if you have a straight nose now, you'll still see the crookedness. So it's very important to actually avoid looking at yourself objectively. It's okay to look clean and take care of yourself, but the self image and self definition of the self really impacts what kind of decisions you make. Will you take the risk? Will you think you deserve things? Will you actually take care of business? Do you feel safe with yourself? Does your business make you feel threatened? If you put yourself too much in the business shoes, your traumas are going to reflect in your business. So if you come from a poor background, you always struggled, you're going to cast that on the business as well. And then the business is going to be reliving your imagined past, maybe semi-real past, but it's going to hinder your business. So I recommend this book, Psycho-Cybernetics. Change your self-image and change your future. And if you do that, you're going to change your business future as well.
Well, thank you for the recommended books, Mr. Arturas. Before we wrap up our discussion for today, I'm inviting you to please do listen to my other podcast, people, because my abstract essay is already in sixth season, abstract poetry in third season, and of course my book 101 review in sixth season too, comedy 101 of fourth season, and my food 101 in sixth season as well, geography 101, love letters, movie 101 review, music 101 our fifth season, science 101, sex 101 of fourth season, and of course my baby podcast trivia 101, spiritual awakening 101, law 101, mental health 101, comedy 101, and of course coaching 101, as well as Bible verses 101. Please listen to them wherever you listen your podcast. So, Mr. Arturas, looking at the next generation of entrepreneurs, what is the biggest piece of wisdom you hope they skip learning the hard way?
So for the next generation of entrepreneurs, a lot of the things that they will learn will be the hard way. Simply the reality of life. That the best things to be learned are always learned the hard way. So be brave, be positive, figure out who you want to be in life, and be that.
Who you are, people. Be who you are. So, Mr. Arturas, can you please invite our listeners to support your business, your advocacy, or whatever projects that you're doing right now?
So, if you do want to learn my skill set, I do have a free community where I teach. No matter where you're from, I have a free course you can actually go through and learn media buying skill by yourself, so you could actually start impacting people in your local area and helping businesses in your local area by providing marketing help. And yeah, you're welcome to follow me on Instagram and TikTok. I do upload regular content that helps small business owners. And that's it.
People, let's support Mr. Arturas Tarasevicius because if you support him, more and more empowering business like this to rise. So, Mr. Arturas, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Daniel.
More to come, people. See you soon.